We're at the IAS. We're here with Motsoaledi, who is the Minister of Health in South Africa, and we really appreciate taking the time to visit with us because we know that you have a lot of challenges in your country, and I think this is your opportunity to tell people outside your country what those challenges are and how we may be able to help and what you're going to be doing.
Well, I'm sure you have heard throughout this conference that we have got the biggest epidemic anywhere in the world. In other words, the highest number of people who are infected and affected by HIV/AIDS in the whole world are found in South Africa. But equally, we have responded with the world's biggest treatment program. We have got 3.4 million people. Out of the 17 million people on treatment in the whole world, 3.4 million are in South Africa alone. So it's the biggest treatment program in the world. That in itself is a challenge, by the way. To have so many people going for treatment. It's a challenge in logistics, the healthcare services, the health workers. For instance, back in 2004, there were only 400,000 people on treatment. Today there are 3.4. I mean, that gap over a decade is huge. So it needs many other innovations.
I know that the science has been pushing the envelope. They've been coming out with PrEP, and they're coming out with circumcision, of course, is another approach. And now they have treatments that might be able to be injected and be dispensed through the body over a month. So a lot of things are happening in a way that you might be able to make change by the science as well. But the opportunities are certainly there to work with the community of scientists who are doing the research protocols, who offer a lot of good things for the country.
Of course, we are working with scientists. In South Africa, we've got a structure which has been specifically formed to deal with HIV and AIDS. It's called SANAC, South African National AIDS Council. That's where government and society come together to develop strategies to fight the disease. It is chaired by the Vice President of the country himself. He's deputized by somebody from civil society, the Minister of Health, myself. I'm only third in charge in that structure. So he's firstly the Deputy President, then a member of civil society, elected by civil society, and myself. And we sit in that SANAC. SANAC has got 20 sectors. People living with HIV and AIDS, health activists, HIV/AIDS activists, traditional healers, traditional leaders, religious leaders,
so they're all a part
labor,
of this.
business, and researchers and scientists. They sit in there. Even sex workers were the latest to join. They sit in there. All these people sit. Scientists must listen and say, this is what we can offer, this is what we can do. Other activists say, this is how we want it to happen, this is what we can offer. So it's a whole range of groupings who sit there. And I want to emphasize that includes scientists and researchers.
It's a giant partnership.
It's a giant partnership. That is the one that brought us here where we are today. Anything that must happen with HIV and AIDS, it must go through the SANAC plenary, what you call plenary, where everybody can. It's a sort of a parliament that deals with how do we deal with this huge pandemic.
How do we, what can we do, what should we be doing to reduce the price of the drugs, to make sure they're more available to more people?
We have already done so. In 2009, at the World AIDS Day, that's the first time the president of the country announced 4 major steps that made South Africa to break with the past of denialism, as you know. In that same occasion, the executive director of UNAIDS, Mr. Michel Sidibe, came all the way from Switzerland to share the platform with the president. And he said publicly, why are you paying so much for ARVs when you have got the biggest program in the world? What happens to economies of scale? I didn't understand at that time. I was still new. I was a few months in the department. When he left, I asked my officials what they meant. They told me. So we brought together the Clinton Foundation, the UNAIDS itself, the World Organization. We sat with them. We worked for 2 years. By 2011, we had reduced the prices of ARVs by 53%. The following year, we did a further reduction. We introduced the FDC, what is called the fixed dose combination. Instead of people taking 3 tablets 3 times a day, they took only 1. Before that, for every patient per month, we paid 314 South African rands. After that, we paid 89 rand, South African rands, per patient. Of course, that was before the rand-dollar exchange disrupted us. It has largely disrupted us. But I'm just trying to show that we've been reducing the price of ARVs. But remember, back in 2000, it used to cost 10,000 rand just to put one person on ARVs for 1 year. Today, it costs only 1,700 rand.
So this is the opportunity to treat more people.
Oh yes,
with
absolutely.
the same dollars.
No question about it. No question about it.
Do you work with the facilities in all of the municipalities around the state, around the country of South Africa? How do you keep them engaged in a way that improves the healthcare system itself?
Oh, we have got a structure, a statutory structure called the National Health Council. That's where I, as the Minister of Health, meet with all the provinces, the states. We call them provinces in South Africa. Each one of them has got a provincial minister of health. I meet with them in that structure. But the Surgeon General, who is the head of South African Military Health Services, also sits in that structure. Then SALGA, SALGA is an association of all the municipalities, South African Local Government Association. It has got an executive. That executive also sits in the National Health Council. It's the highest decision-making structure on all health issues. SANAG is specifically for HIV and AIDS, but all other health matters and health policies, the structure is National Health Council. And that's where I meet with local government and municipalities. That's where they take their matching orders from.
What would you say is the biggest challenge you face within the context of AIDS and HIV? Or TB, we'll put them together.
Yes, the biggest, well, TB has now overtaken HIV/AIDS, by the way, as the biggest killer of all infectious diseases. It overtook it last year.
We shouldn't put that on the side. That's important.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's very, in fact, I'm the present chairperson of the International Board of Stop TB Partnership. So it's also part of my job to talk about TB. And I'm happy that for the first time in this conference, we started with a TB conference on Saturday and Sunday, 2 days before the conference opened. We called the TB conference. That's a very good development. But we also called all members of parliament around the world to sign a pledge to join what we call a global TB caucus, for them to motivate for the treatment of TB in their own countries. We now have 1,400 members of parliament heavily signed in 126 countries. These are new developments. So our new challenge, the biggest ever, is to stop new infections. That's the biggest challenge. The treatment programs are working, but that's biomedical. Our biggest challenge is socio-behavioral. Can we make sure that as we treat people, they become better? At the same time, new infections stop. That means the tap has been closed. That's our biggest new challenge, by the way.
We have the ring for women now, which puts them a little bit more in charge of their health. The ring is now becoming more available, and we have PrEP. So there's a lot of opportunities here that people can use. And I know that there's investigational studies, so those may be the opportunities for you to do a demonstration project at some point after they're approved.
Indeed, we are waiting for scientists to clear us on that one, but on PrEP, we have started.
Yeah.
We already have PrEP for sex workers, which started in April. We are doing it in 11 sites, and from there, after learning the logistics, we'll expand it all over the country. Secondly,
I was going to ask you, I know a lot of the health workers are putting together an effort to try to get the same person to see the person for TB and HIV at the same time, because this seems to be duplicative. They have to make 2 trips to the hospital or to the clinic. So that's another effort I think they're trying to get, to combine the person's visit so it doesn't have to be too cumbersome.
We started in 2011 working with UNAIDS and the World Health Organization to integrate HIV, AIDS and TB services. We had to. It didn't make sense. In sub-Saharan Africa, it doesn't make sense to deal with them separately, because the rate of co-infection is the highest in the world. It's at 63%, meaning that 63% of the people who have got TB are actually HIV positive at the same time. Now, in the past, hospitals used to run like, and clinics used to run like this: Monday, TB clinic, Tuesday, diabetes clinic, Wednesday, HIV clinic, etc. The person comes, he is both HIV positive, is diabetic, he has got TB. And you tell them to come to the clinic 3 different times. It just doesn't wash.
How can they run a life with that?
No, it doesn't wash. It's not practical. So we had to integrate them. Of course, it wasn't easy because that's not how the health workers are trained and socialized. Over their training, they've been trained in silos. Some nurses will tell you, no, I only know HIV. I don't know anything about TB. So we were trying to train them in integrated health services because we are dealing with the same person. After all, these diseases are related. I know many people around the world, especially in the developed part of the world like US, would like to take HIV/AIDS separate to non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and cancer. In South Africa, we have found a very, very close relationship. For instance, women who are HIV positive, their chances of getting cervical cancer increases 5 times.
Yeah.
People who are diabetic, their chance of contracting TB increases 5 times. People who have got silicosis in the mines, especially gold mines, their chances of getting TB increases six times. So all these diseases are very deeply related, and there's no reason to find silos between and boundaries between them. Otherwise, you won't be able to deal with them.
Well, you seem to be probably one of the best organized persons I know that I've met here, and it's appropriate that you be in the position you're in, because you're doing a very good job. I can see that right there.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much.